This is BBC Newsline. I'm Tara Mills. Tonight's top stories. This man who was shot and wounded on Bloody Sunday gives evidence at the Soldier F trial. News that a drug to help treat Duchenne muscular dystrophy will now be available for free is welcomed.
I was so happy, I was nearly crying. It could make you walk for another 3 years, so I'd still be walking when I'm 16.
Police apologise.
I'm here at Belfast City Hall, where councillors are expected to make a decision on a new language policy which could see Irish being used across the city.
Police apologise to the family of Trouble's victim Patsy Kelly for failings in the investigation into his murder.
This day is massive for our family. 51 years. Fighting the British legal system for 51 years.
The trial of two men charged with fraud over a £1 billion property deal is told there is nothing to suggest the former First Minister Peter Robinson benefited from the sale. Following the global attention of last week's Ryder Cup, we take a look at Adair Manor, where the competition will be held in 2 years' time.
And we have a busy few days of weather coming up. Heavy rain for some tomorrow, and then Storm Amy impacts Northern Ireland on Friday. I'll have the latest.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's programme. Our top story tonight is the ongoing trial of a former British soldier known as Soldier F. He can't be named for legal reasons. The former paratrooper is accused of the murders of two of those killed on Bloody Sunday in the Bogside in January 1972. He's accused of killing Jim Ray and William McKinney. They were among 13 people shot dead that day. Today, one man who was wounded told the court that as he lay on the ground, he saw one soldier firing from the hip. Our crime and justice correspondent Julian O'Neill reports on today's hearing.
Soldier F is on trial over the part of Bloody Sunday which occurred here in this courtyard in Derry's Bogside. It's a place still showing the signs of the bullets. Today, in a Belfast courtroom, families and campaigners heard testimony from the man furthest to the right of this picture, Joe Mahon, who was 16 years old when he was wounded at Glenfada Park. Mr Mahon told the court, "I thought I was hit by a rubber bullet." He went on to say, "I know it might sound funny, but when you see someone getting shot on the TV, they're rolling about in pain. I wasn't that way." He then described hearing a voice beside him saying, "I'm hit, son, I'm hit." Mr Mahon later found out it was one of those who died, William McKinney. Soldier F denies murdering William McKinney and Jim Ray, as well as 5 counts of attempted murder. Mr Mahon told the court that at one point he had pretended to be dead to avoid being fired on a second time, after describing how he saw Jim Ray shot twice on the ground from close range. Soldier F is the only person ever charged over Bloody Sunday. The Army veteran's identity is protected by a court order, and he is watching proceedings through a gap in curtains which screen him from public view. Joseph Friel also gave evidence. He was 20 when he too was shot at Glenfada Park as he tried to run for cover. He described seeing a soldier firing 2 or 3 shots and then feeling a thud in his chest. Mr Friel said he began coughing up blood and then staggered and collapsed. Reflecting on what he told the court 53 years after the event, he said, "When you see someone trying to murder you, you do not forget." Julian O'Neill, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
You can read more about today's case and the rest of the trial so far on our website or by downloading the BBC News app. Now, this is Alfie Pentony. He's 13 and has a condition called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Along with his parents, he's been campaigning to have a drug made available in Northern Ireland that will keep him mobile for several more years. The drug is free, but money had to be found by the Belfast Trust to fund a nurse to administer it. Now Alfie's family have been told it will happen. He's told our health correspondent Mary-Louise Connolly that today's news is absolutely brilliant.
Alfie's 13 and has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a condition that causes progressive weakness and wasting of muscles. Affecting mostly boys, for months Alfie and his parents have been campaigning for the drug Givinostat to be made available here like the rest of the UK. Late this afternoon, they and other families got good news.
Absolutely brilliant that they said yes to getting the drug and that I can help loads of other boys and myself.
What is this going to mean for you, for your life?
It could make you walk for another 3 years, so I'd still be walking when I'm 16.
Timing is critical, as the drug is only being given to those over the age of 6 and who are still mobile. Alfie's among the dozen or so kids at the moment who will benefit. Others will when they reach their 6th birthday, and each child will still have to undergo an assessment.
Alfie's going to be receiving Givinostat. He's getting his bloods next week, and by next Friday, hopefully dosed for the very first time, which is absolutely immense. It's just immense.
Duchenne is a rare condition and affects around 70 boys and adults who are treated at the Belfast Health Trust. A life-limiting condition, it ultimately affects the heart and breathing muscles, but advancements in medicine and accessing it means more are living longer. The drug Givinostat is actually free of charge to children with Duchenne in the UK who meet certain criteria. But according to families here, the delay in accessing it was partly down to the Belfast Health Trust finding the money to fund a nurse who could help support the children by both taking bloods and monitoring the results. Families say it shouldn't have taken children to convince the authorities that this move was a no-brainer.
It's been so frustrating to see something that can really help your son, who every day he's not getting a treatment, he's getting weaker, and to see other boys getting it and seeing this postcode lottery appear and stuff like that there. It's frustration wouldn't be a strong enough word, and I can't find one, but there was a weight on our shoulders. It felt like every day that we weren't getting access to the drug was the day we were letting Alfie down.
Alfie's been on medication since he was 4. He says he loves school, but is an even bigger fan of Newcastle United. Is this as good a day as when Newcastle wins?
Yeah, because Newcastle don't win that often.
To get to this point has required tactical moves, but according to all involved, it's been a huge team effort. Mary-Louise Connolly, BBC Newsline.
Go Alfie. Now, still to come on the programme. Will Stormont come up with an alternative to Belfast's stalled Tribeca project? Now, Belfast City Councillors are right now involved in a meeting about whether to adopt a new language policy which will mean a more widespread use of Irish across the city. Sinn Féin say they hope the new policy, if it passes, will eventually lead to a new bilingual English-Irish logo being displayed on council vehicles, uniforms and signs. The DUP has described the plan as madness. Bernie Allen has more.
Sinn Féin says there is increasing support for Irish language signage in Belfast, and putting in place a policy that introduces more bilingual logos is reflecting the public that makes up the city. The DUP, however, say the move is divisive and could pose safety concerns for staff.
Our frontline staff, particularly those who are doing bin collections and street cleansing, and they're coming to us and saying that driving vehicles with dual language logos on it and wearing uniforms with dual language logos on it could pose a safety risk to them going into some areas of the city. And whether we like that or not, or whether that should be a thing in this day and age or not, it is a fear that those staff have.
Sinn Féin is the largest party on the council, and if the policy is approved, the party say a council underspend of £1.9 million has been earmarked to pay for the changes.
What we're talking about here is increasing an additional element to our society and our council, which reflects a more open, a more diverse, a more welcoming city. We only have to look at Mid-Ulster Council, Derry and Strabane, Fermanagh and Omagh, Newry, Mourne. We're not reinventing any wheel here. We're just reflecting more accurately the public that makes up this city.
Alliance representatives are in favour of the proposal going through, but say it's important the move is cost effective.
I think we also need to recognise the issues that maybe some people in the community will have about this. In terms of uniform, we feel that it's probably best to have a pictorial kind of logo which doesn't actually have any writing on it, and we think that would help address those concerns. And I know that certainly in Newry, Mourne and Down Council that's already the way it is dealt with.
Belfast City Council say design work for the new proposed identity and logo is ongoing, and that there will be further discussion and dialogue with trade unions if the proposal is approved by full council at their meeting tonight. Bernie Allen, BBC Newsline.
Well, our reporter Ita Duncan is at Belfast City Hall for us this evening. Ita, the meeting is already underway. Give us a sense of what's been said so far.
Well, Tara, it started here. The council session started inside the council chambers at 6 o'clock, and it's only really in the last few moments where they've started to discuss that controversial language policy. But what we're expected to see throughout the evening and later into the night, because I think there will be a lot of debate around this issue, is that there will be, I'm led to believe, a definitive decision on both the bilingual policy and also the implementation plan. Both of those are expected to be carried this evening, but there will be, as I said, a lot of debate. I understand that the issue of logos and uniforms will not be on the agenda. That seems to have gone out for some public consultation both with staff and unions, so a decision on that and discussion of that will be further down the line.
And when you say the decision will be made tonight on the language, can it then be further challenged like we've seen elsewhere, for instance at Grand Central Station?
Well, Tara, the way the council works is that if there's a group of 9 councillors, 15% of the total of 60 councillors inside in that chamber, if that group of 9 or more councillors, they can decide to challenge that decision. They can do what they say is call in the decision. And what happens then is this has to be done within 7 days, and that decision they can call it in on grounds of the process where they got to that decision, or on process where they say that there could be issues whether it is legally binding or not. So there's 2 reasons as to where it could be challenged. Now, the council officers will look at that. They will decide if there's merit in the challenge, then it goes back to the council for further discussion, or if there's no merit in that challenge, then that decision and that proposal has been passed. So as you said there with regards to Grand Central Station, there was lengthy delays with that. This council meeting this evening will also be lengthy, and the final decision and when it is actually implemented could also be very lengthy.
Ita, thank you. And we'll have the result of that on our late programme. Now, the family of a nationalist councillor who was killed more than 50 years ago has received an apology from PSNI Chief Constable John Boucher. The apology was read at the High Court in Belfast by a barrister acting on behalf of the family of Patsy Kelly. Mr. Kelly was shot dead after being abducted on his way home from work at a pub in Tribeca in County Tyrone in 1974. His body was later found in a lake in County Fermanagh. Kevin Sharkey reports.
The road to justice continues for Patsy Kelly's family. Today, another milestone, a police apology. The PSNI doesn't admit liability, but it does accept that aspects of the RUC investigation in 1974 fell below expected standards. The victim's son was in court to hear details of the apology.
This day is massive for our family, Kevin. 51 years. Fighting the British legal system for 51 years. To get this apology today from the Chief Constable is massive. It's absolutely massive, Kevin, for our family.
This police apology, read into the record here at the High Court this morning, comes more than half a century after Patsy Kelly was abducted in the village of Tribeca in County Tyrone, murdered and his body dumped in a lake in County Fermanagh.
Today's apology from John Boucher, the Chief Constable, is welcome in that it acknowledges the inadequacies in the police investigation. Throughout those 50 years, Tribeca and her family refused to give up. They would quite simply not take no for an answer. However, those years absolutely have taken their toll.
The apology also recognises that the shortcomings in the RUC investigation in 1974 caused additional distress to Patsy Kelly's widow and her family.
Credit to the Kelly family, credit to all of those families who will not give up. And yes, it is Tribeca Kelly and others, Brady Brown, it is those families who to this day have kept the campaigns going.
Patsy Kelly's widow, Tribeca, was unable to travel to court today due to her age and failing health. Kevin Sharkey, BBC Newsline at the High Court in Belfast.
Now, there's not a shred of evidence that the former First Minister Peter Robinson received any money from the NAMA deal, a court heard today. His name came up at the trial of two men facing fraud charges linked to the £1 billion property deal 10 years ago. NAMA was set up in the wake of the financial crash in 2008 to deal with toxic loans on both sides of the border. Our correspondent Mark Simpson was in court.
Peter Robinson was First Minister at Stormont when the NAMA deal was done. The entire Northern Ireland loan portfolio held by NAMA was sold in 2014 to an American investment firm. What happened behind the scenes before the sale is now the subject of a trial. 83-year-old Belfast businessman Frank Cushnahan used to be an advisor to NAMA. He now faces 2 charges of fraud, which he denies. In court today, the jury was told there's a secret recording of him talking to a property developer about money he was hoping to make from the deal. The jury did not hear the tape. They were simply shown a written document with a transcription of some of what was said. But they were told that they will hear part of the recordings later in the trial. The court was told the tape includes Mr. Cushnahan talking about his contact with senior politicians. But the prosecution made it clear that although he's accused of wrongdoing, they're not. Barrister Jonathan Kinnear Casey told the court there is not a shred of evidence that Mr. Robinson received money from this deal. But the prosecution say Mr. Cushnahan was trying to receive money, and he failed to tell NAMA that he was talking to people who were trying to buy the loan book. The opening of the case by the prosecution began on Monday, and it isn't over yet. It is expected to finish tomorrow. Before the jury left today, the judge told them not to make their minds up on the case until they've heard from all of the witnesses and they've heard all of the evidence. Mark Simpson, BBC Newsline at Laganside Courts.
Now, this is what part of Belfast city centre should look like under the stalled Tribeca scheme. Instead, the site has become increasingly derelict. The £500 million private redevelopment was meant to revitalise this large section of the city centre, but little progress has been made, and earlier this year it emerged some applications linked to the scheme had been withdrawn. The Communities Minister says he's exploring options for a realistic alternative. Our political reporter Brendan Hughes has more.
You can't beat these bursting streets, you can't but breathe these cultured beats.
A vision for Belfast. This glossy ad was made to promote Tribeca, its name borrowed from New York, with the Hollywood voice of actor Jimmy Dornan.
You're Belfast soul. You are Tribeca.
A £500 million scheme offering a mix of apartments, offices and retail. The plans cover 12 acres of the city centre, but almost 6 years since they were approved. As you can see, there's little sign of any progress, meaning many of these buildings lie empty and derelict. That hasn't gone unnoticed at Stormont.
It is a stain upon our capital city. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am frankly embarrassed.
All you're met with is dereliction, scaffolding, no attention, no care.
What has it achieved? Tumbleweeds, dilapidation and disrepair.
Now the Communities Minister is getting involved.
I have instructed officials within my department to engage constructively with the Council to help identify and deliver a viable plan.
But he says it won't be easy.
This is a complex issue and it will require time, resources and input from a wide range of professional disciplines and stakeholders to develop a fully costed and deliverable alternative.
As for businesses, progress can't come soon enough.
I think the fact that it's taken so long to have any form of progress should spur people on to get something done. If you just look around you now, this is awful. The opportunity to get housing in here, for instance, and bring people back into the city where people actually don't live, that's something that should be grasped with both hands.
The developer Castlebrook says it wants a plan that's commercially viable. Neither it nor Stormont are known for their speed, so don't expect a new vision anytime soon. Brendan Hughes, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
Some of today's other news now, and the woman who died following a two-vehicle road traffic collision in the Glaryford area at the weekend was 81-year-old Beatrice Higgins from the Ballycastle area. It happened on the Callaghan Road just after 2 o'clock on Sunday. 4 people and a number of police officers who were taken to hospital after an incident at a house in the Holy Lands area of South Belfast last night have been discharged. Firefighters wearing breathing apparatus went into a house on Damascus Street over concerns that a noxious substance was present. But police today said nothing was detected. A quantity of suspected drugs were removed from the property. For the first time in decades, the seabirds Manx shearwaters have been confirmed to be breeding on Rathlin Island, with at least several pairs successfully raising a chick this year. These seabirds are an amber-listed species in the UK and Ireland, and these images were captured on Rathlin by a conservation project using night vision technology. The birds once bred on the island in considerable numbers. Now, after all the coverage of Europe's win in golf's Ryder Cup in New York at the weekend, attention has quickly switched to the next showdown against the United States in 2 years' time. The venue will be Adair Manor in County Limerick as Ireland hosts the competition for the second time in what will be the centenary year for the competition. Gavin Andrews reports.
The Sunday scenes on the 18th green in New York will live long in the memory. But already thoughts are turning to a landmark occasion in 2 years' time.
When we had to make a decision as to where we were going to go for the centenary in 2027, we had a number of options. Everyone loves this tournament. When it was clear that Ireland, the Irish government and JP McManus and Adair Manor were opportunities for us, it became quite an easy decision. I mean, we've been to amazing venues, been in front of amazing crowds, but to have the ability to bring it to Ireland in 27, the centenary, look back across that extraordinary century of performance, when the Irish players have always taken every opportunity to step up and hit extraordinary shots, hole winning putts all the way through. They're steeped in the history. You've got incredibly knowledgeable fans. We get to come to a venue that is exceptional, and you come with people going, you know what? We're going to have the best time. I mean, there's just an anticipation of having fun, enjoying exceptional golf and going home with just lasting memories.
And Ireland has delivered before. The event's only visit in 2006 was a special experience for everyone involved. The K Club gives Adair Manor a template to emulate.
We had a great result at the K Club. The weather wasn't great, and in spite of that, I think everyone had a good time. Golf has a lot of enthusiasts in Ireland, and the fact that we've got to host it, especially in the centenary year, makes it all the more exciting. We get a lot of Americans, tourists, year in, year out, and when they're back in 2 years' time, we're going to try and make it as memorable an experience for them as we can.
And this place is a stage that could take the Ryder Cup to new heights. Gavin Andrews, BBC Newsline.
And after getting the new season off to a winning start at home, Ulster Rugby face a trip to Edinburgh on Friday night in the United Rugby Championships. The last time the two sides met in the Scottish capital on the final day of last season, Ulster lost 47-17. Coach Richie Murphy is hoping for a different outcome.
We're going back over to their home pitch. Last time we were there, it was a very difficult day. You know, very direct team, big ball carriers. You got to take them down. You got to put them on the ground. Big kicking game. They'll try and not play at their end. They'll try and put all the pressure on us in our end of the pitch. So it's really important that we balance our play up. You know, when there's opportunities there, we want to move the ball, and if it's not, we just need to be patient and try and play the game in the right areas.
Oh, it's the time of the year for them, and Weather Watcher Robbie sent us this lovely picture taken in Kesh in County Fermanagh. Absolutely gorgeous. Thanks for sending that in. Cecilia, how are we looking this week?
We have some very busy weather coming up, but the conkers behind you, Tara, I love the shine off them. Beautiful. And I remember playing them as a child, and I'm sure lots of our viewers do too. One of the nicer things about autumn. But the top weather story today has to be Storm Amy. So Storm Amy was named earlier today the first storm of this season. Now, October is quite normally a windy month across the island of Ireland and of course Britain too. This is the position on Friday. This is the storm here at lunchtime. Not only will we have some very strong winds, but we'll also have some very heavy rain during the course of Friday. The winds will be strongest during the latter part of Friday night and into Saturday morning before the low gradually moves away northeastwards and things turn a little bit quieter over the course of the weekend. Today's been pretty quiet and a very mild start for the 1st of October. Temperatures have been up to 19 degrees in quite a few places, so it's certainly going to be a very mild evening and night. It will be quite damp and drizzly in places with lots of fog over the hills. Temperatures settling like last night in the low to mid-teens. So a mild start tomorrow, not particularly wet first thing, but there will be some heavy rain in places tomorrow. Initially that heavy rain moves into the west and then it gradually slides eastwards through the afternoon and evening. So it will impact most of Northern Ireland for the evening rush hour. Temperatures still above average tomorrow, but slightly down on today. Now the winds will be a bit stronger than recent days, but tomorrow is not Storm Amy. That wet weather moves away, things quieten down for a good part of the night, slightly cooler night, and winds will actually ease. So Friday will actually start off quite dry, quite quiet, quite bright, and you'll be thinking, what's this all about? Well, first of all, we get the rain coming in during the latter part of the day from the southwest. Again, some heavy rain with the risk of flooding. We may get some rain warnings in due course, and the strong winds arrive later in the day through Friday evening, Friday night and into Saturday morning. Now, weather warnings have been issued across the whole of the island, and for Northern Ireland that wind warning comes into effect at 4 o'clock on Friday and is valid until 6 o'clock on Saturday. So if you've travel plans, you may well find there's some cancellations, some delays to flights, ferries, etc. later on Friday and on Saturday morning as well. The heaviest rain comes through the day or the early evening on Friday, and then it will be somewhat drier during the course of the weekend. Much colder on Saturday as well. The strong winds still impacting Northern Ireland on Saturday morning before things turn quieter.
Don't even want to say thank you, Cecilia, but thank you. That's it for now. Our late news is at 10:30. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.